Silence fell over the stars. The Galactic Empire, once proud and fearless, was now quiet near Earth's space. No more scouts, no more fleets, only watchers and whispers. Inside a hidden research base near the edge of Imperial space, the Core studied everything they had on Earth. They tried decoding the strange signals. They ran simulations, tested theories, and reviewed the last images from missing probes. But nothing made sense. No weapon was detected, no energy spikes, just emptiness and fear. Then, one Core agent found something, a pattern, not in Earth's technology, but in its history. Every time a major power had tried to invade Earth in the past, on land, sea, or sky, something had always pushed them back. Empires collapsed. Great armies disappeared. The Core called it the Earth effect. They thought it was coincidence. Now they weren't so sure. One scientist made a terrifying suggestion. What if Earth is protected by something we don't understand? Not machines, not weapons, but something ancient, something living. The room went cold. No one laughed. Meanwhile, on Earth, the people lived normal lives. Cities ran, children played, and skies remained clear. But deep underground, beneath the surface, hidden in bunkers built long ago, a quiet war was being prepared. Not for attack, but for defense. The humans knew the Empire would not stop, even after the warnings. Even after the disappearances, so Earth began to wake its sleeping systems. Not the ones shown to the world, but the forgotten ones, left by ancestors who had seen the stars long before today's nations were even born. Machines powered up. Silent. AIs reconnected, and something else stirred. A being kept frozen in stasis for centuries. It wasn't human, but it had been loyal to humanity. It opened its glowing eyes and whispered just one word: soon. Far above Earth, something massive shifted inside the moon. Not on it, inside it, a layer of rock cracked, revealing armor. The moon was not just a moon, it was part ship, part mind, part guardian. Earth's final defense. Back in Imperial territory, the Core made their decision. A secret fleet would be launched, not to attack, but to capture. They wanted proof, a piece of the truth, anything that could explain what Earth really was. 6 stealth ships left under the cover of solar storms. They reached Earth orbit, and for a moment, nothing happened. No defense, no signal, no retaliation. They dropped probes onto Earth's surface, disguised as meteors. Still nothing. They activated scanners. Still nothing. Then, without warning, everything shut down. Their ships powered off. Screens went black. Oxygen dropped. Then a single signal filled every ship, every ear, every mind. The voice was human, but deeper. Colder and ancient. You were told once. Now you are shown. One by one, the ships vanished. No explosion, no light, just silence. And above Earth, the moon turned, ever so slightly, revealing lights underneath its surface. The galaxy now knew Earth was not weak. Earth was waiting. And the next time, humanity would not warn again. The Empire was silent, not because they were afraid to speak, but because they didn't know how to explain what had just happened. 6 stealth ships had disappeared. No explosions, no wreckage, just gone. All sensors had recorded one strange thing before going black: a voice. Human, but not. Cold, ancient, and full of power. It said only, "You were told once, now you are shown." And now, all across Imperial space, reports began to spread. Not from humans, but from alien ships, traitors, and spies. They all said the same thing. The moon moved, not drifted, not shaken, turned. A clear, slow rotation, revealing metal underneath the rock. Lights, openings, vents, as if the moon itself were alive. The Empire's generals met in secret, Their pride was broken, but their fear kept them together. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted revenge. The Emperor himself made the final decision. "If Earth has monsters," he said, "we will become gods." A massive fleet, over 3,000 ships, was sent to Earth. This time they brought everything: planet burners, gravity weapons, AI swarms. This was no longer an invasion. It was extermination, but Earth did not run. There were no warnings this time, no messages, no diplomacy. The sky simply opened, not above Earth, but behind the attacking fleet, a black void, like a hole torn through space. From it came human ships, nothing like the scouts before. These were darker, sharper, silent, and faster than anything the Empire had ever seen. They didn't fire lasers, they didn't launch missiles, they simply touched the enemy ships, and they vanished. No one understood how. One Empire captain tried to escape. He turned his ship around, hit the jump drive, and screamed into the void. But his ship never moved. A voice entered his mind. Not through speakers, not through translation tech, but straight into his thoughts. "You were warned." Then, everything ended. No trace of the fleet was ever found again. Back on Earth, life continued. Peaceful, calm. But underneath the calm surface, humanity watched, waited, prepared. The sleeping systems went back into silence, but they were never turned off again. The moon returned to its old position, but it never fully closed. A line of light remained on its surface, like an eye, half open. The galaxy would never forget what happened near Earth. No species dared come close again, not because they feared humans, but because they feared what protected humans. The last message ever sent from Earth echoed through the stars for decades. Earth is off limits, forever, and no one challenged it again. The Empire was no longer laughing. Their second fleet had vanished. 50 warships lost without a single shot fired. Billions of credits gone. Thousands of trained soldiers gone. Now, across the stars, the Empire's outer colonies whispered, in fear. Something was protecting Earth, but no one knew what. In the deep halls of the Imperial High Command, silence ruled. The Emperor himself had stopped speaking during meetings. He only stared at the black screens replaying the warning message over and over again. You had your warning. There will be no second. They had mocked Earth. Now they feared it. But still, pride lived inside the Empire's heart. Pride and anger. A new fleet was being prepared, not for attack, for research, for revenge. It wasn't made of warships this time, but science vessels, stealth ships, signal-tracking probes. The plan was to approach Earth quietly, scan it from a distance, and find the source of the power. A hidden weapon? An ancient shield? A secret alliance? Answers were needed. The stealth fleet launched in silence. No lights, no signals, only whispers between captains. They reached the edge of Earth's solar system in less than a week. Everything looked quiet, too quiet. No enemy ships, no strange voices. Earth looked normal. One of the lead researchers, a scientist named Commander Yavos, believed the threat had been a bluff. He said humans were clever. Perhaps they faked the ghost signals, the vanishing ships, the fear. He convinced the others to fly closer. They crossed Neptune, past Saturn, moved in past Jupiter. Still, no resistance. Then they reached Mars and saw it. It was not a ship. It was not even alive. It was something buried inside Mars itself. Ancient metal, black stone, giant rings, half buried in dust and ice. And as they scanned it, it turned on, not with light, not with sound, but with memory. Suddenly, every ship in the fleet began to shake. Not from weapons, but from thought, from emotion. The crew saw visions, not their own, not from Earth. They saw stars dying, civilizations burning. They saw a war fought eons ago, so massive it cracked galaxies. And at the center of it, a single figure, not human, not alien, something else. Watching, judging, waiting. The ships tried to back away. Thrusters burned hard. One by one they turned, to flee. But it was too late. A new voice filled their ships. Calm, cold, final. You ignored Earth's warning. You entered the protected zone. Now you will remember. The fleet didn't disappear. Instead, they returned. But not the same. They reappeared above Earth hours later, floating, dead in space. All systems off, all crew members unconscious. Each ship broadcast a repeating message, not in any known language, not in speech, but in music. A piece from Earth's Voyager disc, Beethoven's Symphony No. 5, played on loop. The Empire saw it as madness. But Earth understood. The warning was now a message. One the galaxy could not ignore. Earth was not alone, and whatever stood with it had just begun to wake. Fear spread like a virus across the Galactic Empire. After the Second Fleet returned, something felt wrong. The crew were alive, but silent. Their eyes were open, yet they stared into nothing. Their bodies moved, but only by command. It was as if their minds had been rewritten. Doctors and scientists tried to understand. Machines scanned their brains. Nothing worked. No virus, no damage, no answers. Only one thing was clear. They were still hearing something. Something Earth had awakened. Then came the signals. Thousands of them. Not from Earth, but from old satellites. Long-forgotten stations, even dead planets. Each one carried the same words, spoken in different alien languages, some ancient, some modern, some long extinct. The words were simple. Do not touch Earth. For the first time in centuries, the Empire paused all expansion near Sector 9, Earth's star region. Borders were locked. Military movement stopped. Rumors started everywhere. The people of the Empire whispered in homes, marketplaces, and starports. What did Earth have? What had they awoken? Some believed Earth had found a weapon from the precursors, the first race of the stars. Others thought humanity was just a puppet. Something else was pulling the strings. But then something unexpected happened. A human ship crossed into Imperial space. One single ship. It was small, unarmed, slow. The Empire didn't fire, they only watched, the bow. Ship opened a transmission channel. No threats, no fear, just a human voice. We come in peace, but don't confuse our silence for weakness. The signal ended. Then the ship turned around and returned to Earth space, slow, calm, and untouchable. Inside the Imperial High Council, chaos erupted. One voice shouted to attack now, before Earth grew stronger. Another warned that Earth might already be too powerful. A third warned that the enemy might not be Earth at all. Outside the council, a secret group formed. They called themselves the Core, a mix of scientists, rogue admirals, and shadow diplomats. Their goal: discover Earth's secret before it was too late. The Core sent hidden drones into Earth's region. They moved through asteroid fields and dark space lanes. Some returned, most didn't. But the ones that came back told of strange things. Ships that looked like shadows. Stations hidden inside black holes. Planets with cities made of crystal that shimmered and vanished on radar, and one image, one blurry, flickering shot, showed something impossible. A massive humanoid figure standing inside the rings of Saturn, unmoving, watching, as if waiting. The Empire tried to hide this information, but word leaked. Now, across the galaxy, races that once laughed at humans began to stay silent. Some empires strengthened their borders, others sent messages to Earth, begging for peace. But Earth did not reply. It simply watched, and one line repeated again and again in encrypted channels. You were warned. The Galactic Empire had watched Earth for many years. Their probes scanned the planet. Their analysts studied the humans. And every report said the same thing. Earth was weak. It had no massive space fleet. Its defense systems were old and scattered. Its people were divided, no threat, so the Empire made a choice. It was time to strike. Earth was perfect for expansion, a green world rich with life, close to key jump routes, and best of all, it would be easy to take. The Council approved the operation quickly. A small scout fleet was sent first, 10 fast ships armed with light weapons. Their job was simple: orbit the planet, measure any reaction, and prepare for the invasion. No one in the Empire expected resistance. No one thought Earth would fight back. But as the scout ships jumped into Earth's system, something strange happened. A message appeared. It wasn't sent from Earth's government. It didn't come from any known human base. There was no name, no signature, no face, just a voice. Cold, flat, not angry, not afraid. Leave Earth alone. This is your only warning. The message traveled through open space. Every ship picked it up. Empire officers replayed it again and again. Who had sent it? The signal was clean, powerful, but its source was untraceable. It didn't come from Earth. It came from somewhere just outside the system, a place that didn't exist on any map. Empire. Commanders laughed. "Is this a joke?" one said. "Humans trying to sound scary?" another added. "They barely control their own moon." Still, the message unsettled a few. Not because of what it said, but how it said it. No threats. No demands. Just cold certainty. The Empire ignored it. The scout fleet approached Earth's orbit. Their ships moved fast, confident, forming a circle around the planet. They sent back scans. Some human satellites were tracking them, but none reacted. Earth's ground forces stayed silent. "See?" an Empire officer said. "They're frozen. They can't even respond." But then, one of the scout ships went dark. No warning, no explosion, just silence. The commander tried to contact it. No answer. He ordered the others to hold position, but within seconds, another ship vanished. This time, the fleet saw it happen. 1 second, the ship was there. The next, it was gone. No debris, no flash, just gone. Panic began to spread. "Is this a cloaking weapon?" someone shouted. "Impossible," said another. "Humans don't have that tech." More ships vanished, one after another. No sign of attack. No enemy detected. It was like something invisible was reaching out and erasing them. The last 2 ships turned to escape. But it was too late. Only one transmission ever made it back to the Empire. It was broken, full of static and noise. But one word came through, repeated again and again in a cracked, shaking voice. "Run! Run! Run!" The Empire received the message in their main command hub. The room went silent. Officers stared at the screen. The fleet's location was gone. No signals, no survivors, only that single word playing over and over. Some tried to explain it. Maybe it was a trick, a system error. Maybe Earth had hidden weapons after all. But deep down, they knew. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't fear or luck. It was a warning, and they had ignored it. Now, something was coming. News of the vanished scout fleet spread fast inside the Empire. 10 ships lost, no sign of battle, no distress calls, only a strange message repeating one word: run. At first, the Empire's leaders refused to panic. They told the public it was a system failure, maybe a black hole, maybe pirates. But in private, they were afraid, deeply afraid, because the voice that warned them had no origin, no name. It had come from the edge of the system, from nowhere, and yet it had power. The Emperor demanded answers. He ordered more ships, stronger ones this time, A full battle fleet, 50 warships, 3 dreadnoughts, thousands of soldiers. Their goal was clear: find Earth's defense systems, crush them. Show the galaxy that the Empire could not be threatened, not even by ghosts. The fleet jumped into Earth's system 5 days later. This time, the humans reacted. As soon as the fleet entered orbit, a signal went out from Earth. It wasn't sent through radio. It wasn't picked up by sensors. It didn't even register as technology. But every Empire ship heard it. A single sentence, whispered inside every soldier's mind. "We warned you." Panic spread like fire. One pilot began screaming. Another dropped dead at the controls. His heart had simply stopped. The commanding dreadnought systems began to glitch. Lights flickered. Screens cracked. Artificial gravity failed for 10 seconds. And then the silence returned. The fleet held position. No enemy ships appeared. No weapons fired. But something was wrong. Very wrong. Ships began to drift out of formation. Not by choice. Something was pulling them, slowly, steadily, toward the far edge of the system, toward a dark part of space where no stars shone. "We're being dragged," one captain shouted. "By what? There's nothing there." They tried to fire thrusters. Nothing worked. They fired weapons. The shots vanished into the void, like water into sand. One dreadnought tried to flee. It turned sharply and jumped to hyperspace. It never arrived. The Empire waited at the other end for hours. No signal, no wreckage, just nothing. That's when the message came again. This time it appeared on every screen across the Empire. Military, civilian, even private home systems. It was a video. At first, it showed static. Then an image appeared. The fleet. The entire battle group, frozen in space, floating helplessly. Then, one by one, the ships began to vanish. Not explode, not break, just disappear like dust in the wind. Finally, the image zoomed out, revealing a shape behind the fleet. It was massive, black. It didn't reflect light, it didn't move, but it was there, and then came the voice. "You had your warning. There will be no second." The screen went black. Empire citizens screamed. Leaders gathered in panic. Who was this? What was that ship? And then someone remembered. Decades ago, Earth had launched something into deep space. Not a weapon, not a warship, a message, a golden disk, a recording of human voices, music, and pictures. A peaceful hello to the galaxy. Maybe someone had answered, or maybe something else had heard it, and it had decided to protect Earth.